Hi everybody, Ira Bruce here for Independent News Network, or INN as we like to call it. No affiliation to CNN for sure. This is about independent voters getting together, talking about independent voter issues. And today, what I'd like to talk about and what's been on my mind is talking about what's going on today. And today is June 1st, 2022, record gas prices. Today, they said the average for gas prices is $4.67, a record high in this country. All because of Joe Biden and his followings of the progressive movement in the Democratic Party. I'm going to get to parties in just a second. But what I want to talk about, this channel to me, and the reason I'm making this channel is all about common sense. So let's have a little bit of common sense here. What is going on in this country? This country is in turmoil. And Joe Biden just keeps on the same path. He refuses to waver one way or the other. And it's just, in my opinion, ridiculous. And why is it ridiculous? Because what I'm here to tell you is we are now in the middle of 2022. In 2.5 years, we're going to have another election, right? So if this country continues to go down the path that it's going in, and so let's talk about a little bit of current events. Joe Biden says, we're going to have pain for a while, and then hopefully we'll come out the end with being independent of fossil fuels, right? And so that's his main goal. He feels like we need to go through extreme pain first before, we can get to the other side. So let's just think about this for a second. Number one, we don't have the capacity right now to go totally solar, totally go fossil fuel independent. We just don't have the infrastructure in this company, and we're not going to have it for years. Are the car companies actively pursuing building and creating electric vehicles? Absolutely. You see ads all the time. But that is for people of means, people of wealth, only people who can afford these electric cars. What about mainstream America, right? Mainstream America cannot afford these electric cars, and they're not going to be able to afford them in the near future, for sure. I mean, how are you going to get it? I would say the mainstream America can afford probably, let's say a $25,000 car, maybe mainstream, $20,000, something like that. Electric vehicles are not going to be in that price range or anywhere near it, and anywhere in the near future, for sure. But let's kind of fast forward to 2024. So we've gone through all this pain of extremely high gas prices. They're predicting gas prices to be as high as $6 a gallon by the time we hit the 4th of July holiday. On an average, $6 a gallon. When President Trump left office, it was like $1.89. So I don't care how much you got a pay increase. I don't care how much your pay increase is or was or anything like that. There's no way that everything that's going on will a pay raise ever keep up with the inflation of what's going on in the price of goods, the price of gas, and all of that stuff. This is just craziness. So what's going to happen in 2024? We're going to go ahead, throw the Democrats out of office because of all the poor policies that have been in place. We as Americans, we the people are going to hurt for the next 2.5 years, I don't see Biden changing anything. And if he doesn't change anything in the next 2.5 years, what are we as the American people going to do? What are we as independent voters going to do? I can tell you right now, Biden is losing voters in the Latinos and the blacks and mainstream America, independent voters. This guy, no way in hell is this guy going to ever be reelected. And he's in a dream world if he thinks he is. I honestly don't even know what who his backers think they are. Because in 2.5 years, we're throwing them out and we're going to reinstill. I don't care what you thought about Trump. You know, all of his policies, every single one of his policies, if you think about it, were great business decisions, great business policies. And so whatever you thought of him as a person, I can tell you right now, any big, successful corporate CEO, business owner is going to be just like Trump. You have to be a hard ass. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. You have got to be a guy like Trump to get things done, which he did. And he wasn't afraid to do things. He wasn't doing anything to be politically correct, right? He wasn't afraid of that. So he implemented policies that were best for the American people. And now, forget about what's going on today. Everything that's going on today is because of what happened in the pandemic. So Biden prides himself on a very low unemployment rate, right? Look, you can't pride yourself on something like that. We have gone through a pandemic and now everybody is getting back to work in that terrible time, terrible 2 years that we went through. So we have to look at what are the issues at hand. And the issues at hand are high cost of goods, low supply and demand, and gas prices through the roof. I'm not even going to go through all the other issues like the border, but I can tell you just to touch base on that border just a second, because this video is about projecting the 2024. No one's talking about it, but I guarantee you, if we elect Trump or DeSantis, or I would love to see a ticket of Trump and DeSantis, because we would have literally 12 years of bliss in this country if we ran on that ticket. Trump could have 4 more years as Trump's vice president. DeSantis, he would get elected and have 2 terms. So we would actually have 12 years of bliss. So I want to start that going right now in this video. That's the ticket we want to see come in 2024. But what's going to happen in come in 2024? Hopefully we can get Trump reelected. He could have his running mate as Ron DeSantis. And then what do you think will happen? Trump will go ahead. He will reinstate the pipelines, the subsidies for the oil companies. He'll allow the oil companies to go ahead and start drilling. He'll give them the permits that they're looking for. He'll open up the federal lands. He'll open up Alaska back to the oil companies, and we will have energy bliss, and we'll go back to where we used to be. So why are all the progressives, the Green New Deal people, Joe Biden, why are they in this fantasy world that they think that they can change the world when the world doesn't want to be changed as a whole? The climate change people are about this much out of this much of the population, right? So this much is trying to change the life and the lifestyle of all the people of the United States. Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. And in 2024, everything's going back to normal. And I say normal, not the new normal, the way things used to be, right? Where we enjoyed low gas prices. We enjoyed low prices for everything else. Supply and goods were in excess. I mean, look, a businessman like Donald Trump will make sure that there's no shortage of supplies and there's no demand for supplies. Everything is going to be aplenty if we re-elect Donald Trump back into office. Forget about the man and the person and the personality of the man. We want to concentrate on the things that he implemented when he was in office, the policies, not the person. Let's focus on the policies that were in place. The tariffs, we have to also worry about China and what China might do to us. We have to become independent, totally independent of China, all right? So we aren't subservient to China, and we don't have to fear China because China can cut off whatever they want to cut off. We're going to be totally independent. We need Donald Trump in office, right? In order to do that, we need a businessman to run this country. And I'm going to tell you one more thing that I am going to predict. All these illegal aliens that Joe Biden is allowing to come into this country, I can see them getting all rounded up and thrown right back to where they came from and go back to their country. So these are the things that we can look forward to in 2024 if and when we re-elect Donald Trump and or Ron DeSantis into office, because these are the policies that we need. All right, so let's go ahead and focus on that and try to send a message to Biden. Everything that you're doing is an act of futility. And why is it an act of futility? Because you're not getting reelected. There's no way in hell that you're going to get reelected back in for another 4 years to try to keep going with these policies that you set forth. Open your eyes, wake up. If you want to be woke, you need to be woke to this idea that in 2024, there's going to be a Republican president back in office because of all of these horrible failed policies that you've put in place and all the hurt that you've put on this country, and we're not going to take it. And we have to take it because we elected you into office, and I honestly feel like whoever is behind Biden, they strategically, folks, if you think about it, they strategically picked Kamala Harris as a vice president. Why? Because they knew what was going to happen. They knew what they were going to have Biden do. They knew that all the hurt and pain that was going to be put on the American people in this country with all these policies that are being put in place. Are we going to throw Biden out of office and end up with Kamala Harris? Which, if it's even possible, if she would be worse than what Biden is. So that, in my opinion, was a strategic calculation by whoever is behind Biden and getting him elected, because they could foresee everything that might happen and could happen and is happening. And would we want to impeach this guy and throw him out of office and end up with Kamala Harris and who? Nancy Pelosi as a vice president. So no, we have to deal with what's at hand for another 2.5 years. Now, can we throw Biden out of office? Can we throw Harris out of office? Can we throw Pelosi out of office? You know, the whole problem is by the time, even if we were able to do that, 2.5 years would have gone by and we're just stuck with what we're stuck with and we have to deal with what we deal with. So what are we going to do? We're just going to have to deal with Biden. So the first thing I think at hand is the 2022 election and getting the Republicans to take over Congress. Now, folks, I've made, in all of my earlier videos, I've told you, I'm an independent. I always lean towards the Democratic Party. Always. I can go back in history and tell you all the Democrats that I voted for. But the Democratic Party has changed. They are radicals. They aren't for middle America anymore. So to me, the Republicans and the Democrats have changed. It's the Republican Party that's for middle America, for middle class Americans, for for the lower class population. Those are the ones that are being helped. I'm going to tell you, when Trump was in office, African Americans had the lowest unemployment rate in history. So, and whether you believe it or not, African Americans typically are in the middle class or the lower middle class sector, and they've all been helped. He helped the black colleges go ahead and help African Americans attend more college than they ever have in the history of the United States. So the Latinos, they came from oppressive countries. They don't want to see this country in the condition that it's in because that's what they're running from. So, Democrats, you are running on a platform that just this much of the population is interested in and wants to see and not thinking about the whole of the population. And you're running on past people voting for you, past blocks of people, past minorities. I'm going to tell you, minorities, you're going to be shocked in the 2022 election and the 2024 election because you Democrats have abandoned middle America. And so this is what's going to happen. And I can't wait. Now, hopefully, when the Republicans get control of the Senate and the House of Representatives, they get in control of Congress, things will possibly change a little bit. Why? Because that's where laws are created, right? Biden can do all the executive orders that he wants to do, but laws are created in Congress. And now the Republicans have to focus, when they get control, they have to focus on enacting laws that's going to help the American people. And if they don't, then there'll be trouble in the 2024 election, and they need to wake up and make sure that they fix this country and make Biden a lame duck president and stop all of this craziness that he's doing and the pain that we're all feeling. So there is hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Those Democrats need to wake up and they need to change policy immediately. And the first thing they need to do is get us energy independent and not only help the American people, but help the world. Because we have Russia that's supplying all of this gas and all this petroleum, and they're the bullies of the world right now. We need to become energy independent and supply the world with gas and energy and petroleum and gas, because we need to be the leaders. And not only that, but we produce gas and natural gas. Let me just say gasoline and natural gas. We produce that cleaner than anybody in the whole world. So who needs to be doing it? Look, I agree. We do need to get off of fossil fuels, but we need to do it. We need to do it logically. We need to do it intelligently, and we need to be doing it responsibly. And we are not doing that right now. They just went ahead and just sent us over the cliff. And that is not the way to do it. Their energy policies are just like their Afghan policies. Total disaster. They totally did it the wrong way. They took all of our military out, then they wanted it, and they left all of that equipment in there. That's a whole nother video in itself. But their Afghan policy is just like their energy independence policy. It's foolish. It's poorly thought through. And so we just need to make a change. 2022, 2024, get back to the way things were. Go ahead and be smart about it. We're going in the right direction. All the car companies now are producing these electric vehicles. Oh, great. Okay. 10 years down the road, maybe, when these electric vehicles are 10 years or 8 years older, when the normal people can go ahead and purchase these vehicles, then we can start weaning ourselves back, and it'll be a natural occurrence, right? It'll just happen naturally. But to force this issue and cause all the pain on us with total disregard is ridiculous. It's hurtful, it's painful, and the Democrats need to be thrown out of office because of it. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're not yet a subscriber, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube. We'd like to see you on both platforms because we know we could get canceled at any time on YouTube. Hopefully we won't, but please catch up with us on both channels. We'd love to have you as a subscriber on both channels. And also, hit that notification button as well, so each and every time we make a new video for you, you'll be notified. And also, lastly, we want to see your comments. So let's get a dialogue started. Look, I'm going to admit I'm not the most smartest guy when it comes to politics. I'm trying to learn. I can learn from you. I can learn from others. Let's go ahead and get a dialogue started. We, the people, as independent voters, we're going to make this election. So without us, they're nothing. Republicans and Democrats. So they need to know that. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in our next video.